keep it together. Julie and I worked on this, and it's really hard to capture Dad's life. He did a lot. Brian Noble Simmons was born Monday, April 11th, 1949 in the Woodstock General Hospital. Dad was the fourth son of Gordon and Georgina Simmons. He was thought to be a tumor in his mother's belly until they realized Grandma Simmons was actually pregnant. Dad was born with a bad gut and had many food allergies, which required Grandma to seek employment to pay for his formulas. So this is a bit of history that you may not know, but I'm just trying to share his life. Dad was the black sheep of the family, and for example, at 10 years old, got into Grandpa's dandelion wine. And probably took a beating for that one. At 13, he worked at Bertrand's farm, picking rocks out of the field and cleaned out pig manure out of Ernie Turner's barn, which helped him form his strong work ethic. Ernie Turner was his second dad, and his wife May also treated him. Also treated him like a son, giving him positive attention and baked goods that he didn't get at home. Dad went to Burgessville Public School, and then he attended Delhi High School. Dad met Mom, Nana, on the bus as she was dropped off at Norwich High School, and he continued on to Delhi during her grade 9 year in 1966. The Simmons family moved to Woodstock in 1967, and Dad finished high school at Cass with a technical diploma, but unfortunately without his math or economics. Brian worked for Jim Pine Landscaping for summer work in his teenage years during high school. After completing high school, he was hired on at the Woodstock General Hospital as an orderly/porter, otherwise known as a bedpan jockey, and was so well liked by the doctors and nursing staff, he was asked to help assist in the emerge with day surgeries and prepping patients. Alice Pember was a nurse in emerge at that time and helped him gain employment with the Woodstock Ambulance Service in 1973. After he was able to get his first aid training from St. John's Ambulance and his full high school diploma from Fanshawe College, as he needed that math and economics course for his full diploma. He completed his paramedic training in 1974 at Camp Borden, and that was about a month after Julie was born. Although raised in an Anglican home, was baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist faith at 18 years old. In 1970, he got married in Woodstock and honeymooned in Niagara Falls. Unfortunately, all their luggage got wet the night of their wedding, and they didn't leave for their honeymoon until a day later after they dried all their clothes out, had to repack. And they had two wonderful children, a son, me, and Julie. So, significant achievements. Nana and Papa started fostering children in December of 1979 for 31 years, supporting over 100 children, and provided mainly long-term care, but also relief weekends, emergency on-call, and caring from infants to teenagers. Papa hand-built the addition on Mary Street from 1980 to 87 with the help of his children, sometimes against their will, employing Julie and I. But it often felt like slave labor at the time. Didn't give us much choice back then. Brian received the Jack Ross Memorial Award for bravery in 1984 during the standoff that involved the death of a police officer, Jack Ross. He purchased 509 Mary in 1989 and Frederick Street in 1991, which was his beginning of his property investments. In 97, took 8 kids to Alaska and brought them back alive. It meant a lot to him, that trip. 2008, he stopped smoking. Delivered 14 babies during his 41-year career and gave each and every one a teddy bear with the ambulance patch sewn onto it. He held office in the Oddfellows Club and gave George a home. For those of you who know George is. Celebrated 50 years of marriage, April 19th, 2020. So those are some of his achievements. Some fond memories that we jotted down were always his big bear hugs. Remembering like the time he brought home some deaf strangers from a 401 accident and they stayed the night and provided them food and shelter and helped them find their belongings on the highway and send them back home. From our childhood, canning pears every darn supper from those 2 pear trees in the backyard. Visiting the Bertrand farm and had pancakes and syrup every spring to see the sugar shack and buy syrup. Christmas caroling every December. Excuse me. At the time, it was pretty.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah. As a kid, you never want to get dragged out with your family, not even relatives, paraded around town, Christmas caroling. But it's one of those memories.
That you appreciated what he did.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
His giving attitude.
Yeah. And his mistletoe off his hat that he always had to kiss people, give a bear hug. So.
Yeah.
Candy cane.
Yeah, and a candy cane, that's right. So every year, every Christmas, December, we do the rounds and go back home for a hot chocolate with the family. So that was a good memory. He volunteered in maintaining Camp Frenda, the youth camp in 85 to 87, in order to provide us with some family vacations. And he allowed me to drive on the highway at night when I was around 14 years old. While he slept in the back of the van on the 401 going up north. So yeah, he had a lot of faith in.
That could have been the end of the lineage.
Yeah, he did a lot of things that.
Outside the box.
Yeah. But he had faith in his family. I think that's the biggest thing. He really trusted us. Camping and trips, purchased his RVs and campers and road tripping out to Alaska in 79, or BC in 79, and Alaska a few times, and Newfoundland, and our trips to Florida. His motorcycles he had. Remember the time he burned his leg really bad on his Suzuki 500, and he had a couple Honda-matic 750s. Legion dances on Friday nights. He loved to party, good music and dancing.
Saturday nights.
Oh, sorry, Saturday nights.
Saturday nights.
Bought cottage with Julie to reconnect with family. That was a big one. He also provided a home for Grandma Forsey. Loved old cars. Visited car shows. Bought the old Dodge. Even though in those 2 old cars he just never fixed up from years ago. Admired his ability to make everyone feel welcome. He could talk to anyone and look past anyone's flaws. He was a polarized person, and he identified with the dualities of life as it really resonated with him. He enjoyed Star Wars. You know, the Force, the battle of good and evil. Because he often talked about, may the Force be with you, or he talked about spiritual cancer that gets to people. Some of the sayings: bear on square one, 1,000 pounds of love, hand hugs are good, but bear hugs are best. Make life happen. Money is a tool. And of course, the spiritual cancer. Significant events in the last 6 years. He survived a heart attack in 2015 and was diagnosed with prostate cancer April of 2019. He finally realized the implications of PTSD he had on him from his long career and tried to get some help after his retirement. He became the marijuana monster, as they call him at Secure House, as he tried to manage his pain throughout his end-of-life battle. Dad had a stern upbringing, English upbringing, that he imposed upon us with his high expectations for his family. And unfortunately, the PTSD spilled out in explosive anger issues that affected our family dynamics over the years. But there was always focus on serving community. Family was important, and his strong, loving heart was always about helping us purchase our first homes, helping others through work or providing furniture or a hot meal, his dedication to community, all his bear hugs, and his many outside-of-the-box way of thinking. It's really hard to capture everything that he meant to so many people. He had the perfect career for his big heart and took pride in it. He loved being a paramedic, and I'll quote him, he never worked a day in his life. He cared a lot and was able to show it with his bear hugs, because nothing shows you care more than actually touching and holding someone. He was dedicated to his family, wife, and friends. He was a proud man. He was a dreamer. Although his life was cut short, he lived life his way, stubbornly. And we sincerely want to thank him for all that he has done for us. This is not the funeral you should have had. COVID sucks. You deserve much more, and you will, and we will have a party for you when times are better in a true celebration of your life. I love you, Dad. I'm proud to be your son and daughter.
I know, I'm just where we're.
May your soul rest in peace until we can all be together again. Thanks.